Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rito Sursinus, and welcome to the Community Frontline, the official one, number 2. Welcome, everyone. Today we've got quite a lot to talk about. And I also made some promises in the last stream that I would play with the MG42. In front of me, you can already see the game running, but this is actually not the live servers, but right now, as you may have already heard or already seen, is that we have opened up the prototype server. So if you want to help us test some things, you can surf to prototype.heroesandgenerals.com, download the latest client from there, and from there you can access the prototype server, which currently runs on the latest version, which is 1.08, which is currently in testing phase. Next to 1.08, the primary reason why we have opened this up is so you guys can have a look at what we have prepared for you in 1.08, but also to stress test the new war server framework. In the last stream from Rito Gargamel and Rito Repron, he talked very shortly about the new war server framework. There were some incorrect information being spread. In short, in 1.08, hopefully we will release the new war server framework. And what is this war server framework? This war server framework is actually it's a lot of stuff on the back end being done by our back end programmers, they have created a framework which will essentially make sure that in the end everything that runs on the back end will make use of that framework. So that includes, for example, the strategy game, but it also includes, like, there's a lot of stuff happening on the background, such as statistics as well. This means that they have established a framework, but the actual refactoring of, for example, the strategy game and stuff like that has not actually happened yet, which means that eventually the strategy game will be ported to this framework. But it will still take a while before this actually happens. And when that strategy game, for example, is being ported there, it will be cleaned up, it will be completely rewritten, and we will open up the ability to actually extend on the RTS part of the game. But this framework is primarily meant so everything comes back into a correct place. And hopefully in the end it will result in us being able to deliver better performance and remove some of the old systems which contain some flaws which we cannot fix right now. So a big part of this is actually having to test it, because despite not much of it what you can see has changed, but on the background a lot of it has changed. So please come and help us on the prototype server, so you can help us test if actually everything still functions. As usual, you will have 100,000 gold, or you should have 100,000 gold to buy some stuff, have a look at what 1.08 is about, but also buy some assault teams, do the usual stuff you do, and let's see how far we can actually get in stress testing this stuff, so we know if stuff is going to break when more than 10 players are going to be online. So for the upcoming moments, I will play a bit on prototype server. Later on I will still go probably to the live servers, but just wanted to test as well. And also it gives me the opportunity to show the new sounds of the semi-automatic rifles, or rather the refurbished sounds, to make them more distinguished between each other. And there are some other stuff which 1.08 contains, such as the new planes, which we can look at. So I see I have, sorry for the notifications in my corner. I'm not sure if they actually show up on the stream, but people are tagging me on the forums, which means I get notified automatically. So yeah, that's one of the things I'm going to show. Let's see if we already actually can get into a battle. Hold on. In the meantime, as you may have seen on the forums, I have recently opened some of the feedback topics in regards to actual mine, the shooting friendly mines, or doing something with friendly mines, triggering friendly mines. I've opened up a feedback topic. There was some great response from you guys talking about how we can avoid this and what a possible solution would be to this. And next to that, I also had a topic to discuss a bit about the menu options. One of the main reasons why the mine stuff was discussed is because this issue has been around for quite a while already, but we've also made some changes in the past, and not every change has made the desired effect. So not every change we made was like it people were still triggering them, people were still doing something with it. Let me put down my audio a bit. So that is actually one of the things I wanted to talk to you about, is like what do you guys think is a good solution to this problem. And well, I collected this feedback and I added it into the document which Rita Repjarn spoke a lot about. Is we have weekly meetings, or almost every week we have a meeting to discuss some community issues, and also part of this is basically yeah, discussing stuff like this and to see where we can fit this into our development. So the topic is already dropped down a bit on the pages already. I've collected that feedback and I added it into the report. So once we have another one of those meetings, we will discuss it with everyone who is involved there, which is among other things Rita Repjarn, our producer is involved, I am involved, Rita Splixen is involved, QA is involved. So there's a lot of people involved in this, which essentially results in us like, do we think this is a good idea? Can this work? Can this be implemented? How much time would it cost? Where would it actually fit? Because we may have to rework some things, which is one of the things why we have the is my sound really that bad? Hold on. So which is also why we have opened up a topic about the menu options. The menu options is something, yeah, a lot of people have been requesting the removal of the objectives icons, and right now it only does that when I aim, as you can see here. But it can still be blocking if somebody is slightly below the objective and you're hip firing, or you're somewhere close to the objective. So but one of the important things to note there is that the menu actually receives some more work. A lot of the stuff may have to be rewritten slightly, and it isn't very flexible. It's pretty old code. So what we have done is I've collected feedback on the forums together with you guys. Is like, what other menu options would we really need? What other menu options would we really want to have included? Because once he touches that code, he might as well redo a lot of it and include some more options. So that is one of the things we have actually been looking at, and well, there was actually quite a bit of extensive feedback in regards to the objective layer, but also other options which should be available in the menu options. And once again, I have collected that feedback and I've added it into that report, and we will look at the feedback once we have another one of those meetings where we have the room to discuss it and fit it somewhere in the development plan. So that is actually, I just wanted to explain you a bit there on how we actually deal with these things. It probably won't be the last time that we open such topics. In general, I collect a lot of feedback from the forums, but sometimes it's also good to just centralize that feedback once again and repeat some of the things which have already been said, just to make sure that I get the right picture, just to make sure that I know what everybody wants and which line the community thinks, so to speak. So yeah, it's quite vital, and I hope we can further improve and further make topics like this, so we can actually yeah, further improve on this. Which is, yeah, that's something I just wanted to explain a bit, which leads us actually to Ooh, I can get it right, that's nice. So we also have the some feedback in regards to the Q&A and Y show from Rita Rebion and Rita Gargamel, and one of the things was that some of these questions were actually misunderstood, or there was some talks about what the actual short names of it meant. To elaborate a bit further on this, because there was a lot of discussion about the auto resolve stuff, the AR stuff. I think it's important for people to keep in mind, because there was a lot of kind of rage about it, is that in-house, internally, we do not use these terms at all, because it only for us, a lot of the actual features which you see in the game have a different name in-house, which means that when we talk about that stuff, for us auto resolve is really auto resolve, and not AR or something else. It's very important to us to actually use the full names, or else we start making mistakes, because AR for us can also mean assault rifles, for example, like I also said in that stream. But in order to improve this, because we've noticed that this was a slight problem, is that for the next stream I will make sure that when the questions are actually collected, I will just read through the questions and elaborate where necessary, because I'm more active on the forum, so I generally have a better idea of what you guys actually mean with some of these questions. So hopefully we can then prepare some more accurate answers to those specific questions. But when you do ask these questions and a new topic has already been opened about this, please make sure to be as clear as possible, like something like, when are you going to buff all weapons again? It's a nice question, it's a great question, but it's a very wide question which can have a lot of answers, and the reasoning behind it may not be clear to everyone. And yes, for the guys who have not noticed yet, check your in-game email. You can also type !Cologne in chat, and you will see the voucher code of today, because the upcoming days you will receive some nice stuff which you can go around with. So today is actually, as some of you have already said in the chat, is a shovel, but it's quite a special shovel, because it has a skin on it, which is, I think, quite fun. So I see a question here in chat, Nettercirc. I'm not saying that it is bad that you guys speak community language. I'm just asking you to understand that in-house we don't necessarily use that same language. So that basically means that some questions may be misunderstood, and in advance we will hopefully better translate those questions into our in-house terms, so we can provide the proper answers. And it seems that a lot of players are playing German at the moment on the prototype server, so we only got planes against us. Yes, but in the end, indeed, like Hate said, you have to keep in mind that generally the community managers are the ones most active on the forums. I mean, it's part of our jobs, and the developers are usually very busy with, guess what, developing, which means that essentially, yeah, those terms may not be as equally known across the board, because some of these terms are really used primarily by veterans, considering most players play staged. I wonder if half of our community even knows what auto resolve is, but let's leave that aside. At Marv, this is not why matchmaking is broken, because this is on the prototype server, so there's currently like 20 players online. I understand that there are some other issues you guys are experiencing with the matchmaking, but using the prototype server with barely any players online is not a good example of how the matchmaker is broken. It just simply puts everyone in the battle right now. Do they? So I will actually one of the sounds which actually hasn't changed, it's unfortunate that I'm on the German side, is actually the G43 with its new sound has actually not changed, but the M1 Garand and the SVT-40, the semi-automatic rifles of the United States and the Soviet Union weapons, have actually been slightly altered to make more distinguishable sounds. Which means that for the M1 Garand actually several sounds have been refurbished, and for the SVT-40 it actually just has been remixed. I hope to be able to actually do some sounds or meet some people who have the weapon equipped, so I can actually let you hear the sounds. And of course, the game sound is pretty soft right now. I can turn it on a little bit. Is that you may hear some new planes around. That doesn't look. And a very, very aggressive, hateful person who hates crates. So hopefully we will be able to see some of these planes around as well. I may actually be able to join as a pilot next round. I'm actually not 100% sure how long the prototype server will be open, but at least for I would say 2 hours we will have the prototype server opened. There's quite a bit of room for everyone, so don't worry about not getting in right now. Just slowly download the client. At the moment there is it still says 9 players, which seems odd. Yeah, hold on. And this one. Okay, let's see. So I will just add some plane seats so the guys in my squad can actually also play. There we go. Yeah, my players online is actually not that easy to. It's not properly refreshing at the moment, but. So in retrospect, now that we're random talking anyway, we'll wait for the battle to start. Is actually that as you may have seen, we have a new CEO in our company, which means there is a slight change in management. The old CEO is, however, still very much working in the company. He's just doing different tasks at the moment, but. There's a Meet the Dev published on the news, so yeah, give him a warm welcome, and yeah, it will be interesting to see what the future holds, of course, for you guys as well. But we are very excited that we got him as our new CEO. So, which yeah, hopefully brings more good to the future of Heroes and Generals. So let's see if we get some infantry. Ah, yes, yes. I get to kill Rita Chuckle now. Yes. For 1.08 coming, well, the prototype currently runs on 1.08, so hopefully it shouldn't take that long anymore for us to. Hopefully it shouldn't take too long anymore for us to release it. It all depends, of course, if quality assurance approves the build, because if it doesn't get approved, then it doesn't hit live. So I would say expect it within the upcoming 2 weeks, and that would definitely be an estimate which hopefully we can reach. So don't worry too much about that. I've also already started preparing the changelog and all the other stuff around it. So. And as you can hear, oh, there's planes, lots of new planes in the air. Yeah, for the guys who are trying to actually play through Steam, it's kind of, yeah, it is technically possible, but it's better to just go to prototype.heroesandgenerals.com, download the client from there. It's the standalone client in this case, and you should be able to go on Prototype. So do not use the Steam client to try and access the Prototype server. So just focus on getting the standalone client. So, because I see some questions about that here, and yeah, just make sure to just use the standalone client. It's a separate, it will install separately from your Steam client and from the live game client, so it's not like it overwrites anything. So just make sure to use that. Oh, I'm getting shot at. And why are you shooting at me? And from where are you shooting at me? Where did he go? Where is he actually shooting from? Cheeky. Among other things, which actually hasn't been talked about in the dev stream, is actually that there's some new vehicle impact sounds. That means that right now, when you either damage your own vehicle or you do something else with your vehicle, such as running people over, it has a different sound. Come on, I should have another character. I thought I had another character already set up. So actually, the sounds like driving and stuff is still the same, but when you drive over someone, there's a sound which displays cracking bones, or which sounds like cracking bones, and there's also a sound on damage, on impact. These are, as far as I currently understand it, not final sounds. It's still a little work in progress, but the basic sounds will be in place. This is probably a horrible idea. Yeah. You're stuck in battle. New sound from. No, Burnout, sorry, I still haven't bought a proper microphone. That's still work in progress. My apologies for that. I'll just contact people about the server issues. So I'm just informing people right now to make sure that Prototype hopefully runs stable. But then again, you know, this is what these testing sessions are for. If the server breaks, then it's good that we know it now before we put it on the live server. So sorry for the flipping screens. I'm just trying to find the right stuff again. Yeah, Burnout. It's something I'm still working on getting we're looking into getting me a proper microphone and sound card, so I can improve the sounds a bit. I understand it's still quite a bit terrible, at least for some people. Yeah, apologies for that. It's still being worked on. At least I got the lighting and stuff already sort of working, so I'm very happy with that. I'm a bit of a noob with such things, so. Sounds like he's in here. And the other guy was on the other side. That's not fair. As for molesters to loans, besides the normal motorcycle, the Germans also have the Kettenkapp, which technically does not have a sidecar. It's a bit slower because it's tracked, but it works quite well as a motorcycle. And one of the advantages it has is that it can have a supply crane. And one of the other things actually which has also been done in 1.08 is that there has been some improvements to the planes, and in particular to the FPS performance. Yeah, come on. Fully modded AVS it seems. That's not very nice of him. The problems players are having with Proto, I have alerted some people which are hopefully looking into it, so if there is any problems, hopefully it will also show up in the log so we can prevent this from happening on the live server. So but at least we're getting the objective, so that's something. And it seems like the server is filling up a bit more, like more and more people are getting in, so that's good to see, guys. So once again, if you want to participate, it's open for everyone at the moment. If you go to prototype.heroesandgenerals.com, you can install a separate client from your live server. And I'm hoping I can find an SVT somewhere, so I can let you hear the sound of it. I'm afraid I'm making low flight. So in general, some of the actual sounds of the planes have also been lowered and unified the plane sound level. So some of them got slightly reduced, some of them got slightly increased. The landing sound and the gear sound deploying has been decreased, and there are some other sound improvements as well, besides the also performance improvements. But so that is actually also one of the things which have been changed. So actually in this update there's quite a lot of sound changes besides the already shown new planes and stuff like that. I think there's a guy walking in this building somewhere. But it may not be the case. No, it's empty, so kind of wonder where they are. There's someone shooting the car 98, which should be friendly. Oh dear. Maybe I can hear the weasel. So that was the Dimitri, which actually you just heard. Just made a low flyby actually even. Let's see if they have someone left there. Doesn't look like. Let's grab a bicycle. So while we're at it, let's have a look. Yeah, I've got some other stuff to show you, but I will have to shut down Prototype soon to do that, because of course one of the other anticipated things in the next update will be the leaderboards. And I kindly asked Rita Robotron for permission to show you around the leaderboards a bit more, which is gonna be fairly large, or at least in terms it's gonna be showing quite a lot of statistics over the past 30 days. And of course you can also search for your own gamer tag in case you're not in the top 10 to see how good you are doing, or how bad in some cases, I guess. So that I will be showing off today as well, hopefully, but I will have to shut down the prototype client that for now. Nice. Let's see if he pops his face out again. The guys asking for the MG42 without tight grip play. This is currently on a prototype server, so I do not have the character set up here, but later on I will also go to the live servers on which I do have the character set up. So there I do not have tight grip currently enabled. I have heavy set and fast reload. So I will be showing it off, but right now I'm just showing off prototype a bit, and I hope some of you will be joining us so we can test it a bit further. Let's have a look see. Okay. Seems they have all given up. Oh no, they haven't. They're just on the other side. That's awesome. So I'm about to run into some nasty enemies, I guess. Yeah. Well, fair enough. Yes, I know there's a demon in my microphone. It's being worked on. I really need to fix that, I guess. But yeah, you know, I'm starting to feel like you guys don't appreciate demons being in my microphone. All of those artwork thingies, Marv, were removed for potential copyright issues. So actually there are some new ones placed here and there which are actually created by ourselves, but some of them are also removed because we were afraid it had some copyright issues. So yeah. And it's not even the cats right now breaking stuff down, so yeah, there obviously must be a demon in my microphone again. So let's have a look see. They're probably hiding in there again. I have a feeling they don't really like me. The war ended. That's good, because we also need to test that, I suppose. So, oh, that's okay. That causes some issues, but it's good to see that the war is actually ended, because I think we do need it to test that. So that's great news. It's rather quickly, but hey. Yeah, Bush, the idea is actually that I get a separate microphone, so I can just unplug this one or just disable it and get a proper separate microphone, which actually does not sound like a demon. Yeah. That doesn't seem very nice. Yeah. Now that is the big question. Where are they now? And don't have transportation, so I'm not gonna get to O2, I suppose. Yeah, we're gonna lose that. That's not good. Eh. I want a bicycle. So is every time I aim down my sights the microphone craps out? That's quite interesting. So the demon is actually inside my rifle and it just tries to pop out when I zoom in. Come on. Now we're losing O3, that's bad. That's bad. Can I see him from here? Probably not. Oh yeah, he's still alive. And he's dead. Yes. Maybe I should just, you know, we could do silent streams until I have a better microphone. That could be fun. Just do silent streams. It's like I will just stare down the webcam, you know, forever. Until the stream is over. Just not talk. Just show stuff, do nothing else. No talking. Looking at the chat and driving at the same time. I'm decent at this game, I would like to say, but there's one thing I absolutely suck at, and that's driving. It's just despite having like 2,000-3,000 hours, I just absolutely suck at driving. We can just also, you know, maybe I just don't have to talk, but we can just let the demons talk constantly. So actually, I'm just, because it's already time is going quite fast. So if you guys are still trying to join up on prototype, that would be great. I'm just unable to switch battle. That's awesome. So a new war has already ended. In the meantime, I'm just going to show some other stuff because I did want to show some other stuff as well. So I'm just gonna do that right now, which means I'm going to close this. But first, let's do a giveaway. I have it set up, hopefully. So actually, I hopefully this time I disabled all the stuff which I should have disabled, and I enabled all the stuff which I should have enabled. So if you want to participate, the command is going to be !Frontline. The winner gets some nice voucher. So I'm gonna open up the giveaway and let's see if it actually works right now. So type !Frontline and hopefully it works. Hopefully. I see some guys getting in. Seems to work. That's definitely a lot of entries I'm getting, so that looks good. So I'll let it run for just a tiny bit. I'm actually going to pick 2 winners this time. If you win, you can approach Rito_hates on Twitch. Just get in touch with him via chat, and you will get your voucher. And I still see a lot of people participating, so I'm actually gonna run it just a bit longer, but it seems like there's a fairly big list already, so people are saying that it's rigged already. Really? I haven't even picked a winner yet. So I'm gonna pick the first. I'm gonna stop the entries now, and I'm gonna pick a winner. The first winner is gonna be AKETJJ. AKETJJ. So please type something in chat, and please get in touch, because I already see that you type something in chat. Please get in touch with Rito_hates, and I'm going to pick another winner, which is going. I hope that actually works. Adrian Victus. Oh, you poor thing! You won something. That is absolutely rigged. It's unbelievable. I agree, guys. This is rigged. This is technically not possible that he wins. It's. I'm afraid there's something wrong with the system. You know, I thought I excluded him in my code, but apparently it didn't work. And yes, and thank you for putting that on screen. Awesome, you're awesome. So what I'm actually going to show is a bit of leaderboards, because I promised I would have a look. So it's still on the so next to the test servers for the live server, we actually also have a test forum and a test website. So if we break stuff, we don't do it on the live stuff. So actually, I'm just gonna go to full screen here, and I'm actually gonna show you some of the stuff which we have planned for the leaderboards, because well, as you already heard in the last stream, we do have in 2 streams ago, we do have the leaderboard. I just wanted to show you a bit what is actually inside the leaderboard. So every single statistic is going to be based on the past 30 days. So if you in the past 30 days have for example the most kills, then you will show up on number 1. So I'm just going to go to overall. So on the left, you see the list. So right now it's on score. So this is just the overall one, and you see that Rito Choco is very much cheating right now. That's something that is of course going to be sorted out, so we do not show up in this list. But so you don't pay too much attention yet to who is actually on the list. But this allows you to see who is actually in the list. So you've got the score, you've got the kills, you've got the headshots. That's all part of the savior, and you can just easily switch between these tabs. And at the same time, like for example, I actually haven't I'll just use my private account, this one for a moment. I probably made a few kills, not too much, which means if I it might actually be set on the test server at the moment. Actually, I'm quite confident it's not set on the live servers at the moment. So I cannot actually show that. No, I cannot actually show that right now because it doesn't seem to be set on the live servers. But so this is actually something you can see. So you see, number one is in this case probably a test ban account for QA guys. So you've got the overall one, which contains the score, the kills, and the headshots. Then we have a support, because we personally think that having a supportive role is very important in the game. So you got the mobile deploys, you got the savior kills, but you also got the three various supply crates. So you got the Panzerfaust, the health, and the ammunition. So each one of them is where you can actually see how many times people have made use of your supply crate. So it's not how many times you have used it, but it's how many times other people have used your crate. So that's also the hit points heals, which is of course related to the medic. And we have the vehicle repair, so what you do with your wrench, there's a certain score attached to that, and the total score is calculated here. Which is part of the support, so that's and the mobile deploys is of course also how many times people have actually deployed. So then you have the tactical one, is the control points captured, which is again Reader Chocolate has obviously been cheating his way up, because this is he's been testing way too much. So you got the control points captured, you got the squad orders, the squad leader and the squad member, because those are separate things of course. Some people prefer to be squad leader, some people would prefer to be squad member. Then you got the encounter maps, which have been won, the skirmish battles, which you have won, the assaults, which have been won, and the assaults won as a defender. So there's a difference between attacker and defender, and the primary reason why we do that is actually because the game is sort of set up so defenders actually have an advantage. So it wouldn't be really fair to mix them together, because if you only play attack missions, then the chance that you actually have the most assaults won is a lot lower, as if you're only defending. And we have the parachute jumps. So you can see how many people actually continuously drop out of the airplane. And then we have the weapons, of course. The melee kills, which naturally it has to be there. We need to be able to show how many people have been derping around with their melee weapons to slap each other in the face. Especially now that today's gift is the special shovel with the skin. So you got the pistol kills, the SMG kills, the rifle kills. The rifle kills is actually a combination of the semi-automatic rifles and the bolt action rifles. So those two are actually combined in this one. You got the LMG kills, the grenade kills, which, okay, I have to admit was kind of funny, because when it was set on the live servers you could see that the top 10 was all Soviets. So which for most veterans is a clear signal that indeed the Soviets do like to use their hand grenades. And then you have the rifle kills on long range, which is also something separate, because it gives of course additional experience in the game, which means that it's also a different statistic for us, so which we can show. So under the vehicles we have the light tanks destroyed, medium tanks destroyed, heavy tanks destroyed, tank destroyers destroyed, and of course for the planes we have the dogfight kills. So it doesn't matter in this case, for example, you see the infantry, so it doesn't matter if you're infantry, tanker, or plane or whatever. It just takes everything into account basically to see who has the most. So it can be a tanker in the top 1, in the top 10, but it can also be just an infantry or even a plane pilot. And then last but not least, but unfortunately this is currently not functioning so well, but it is being worked on, is for the assault teams, for the RTS part of the game, we have the battles, the amount of battles you have won with your assault team, and the amount of battles you participated with your assault team. So this it bases this on per assault team, so which one has the most. So it should be quite interesting to see who is very active with his assault teams, and who wins actually a lot of battles with his assault teams. And once again, this is as Rita Roboton has already said, this is a very open system, so it allows us to easily work with it and add stuff to it if we want to. So that would actually be quite interesting to see. But with the initial release, we hope to release all these statistics, which is already quite a lot, and maybe in the future we will add more or do some other stuff with it, and yeah, it should be quite interesting to see. So I just wanted to show you guys a bit, because I felt that in the last dev stream we of course we showed a bit of the leaderboard, but a lot of progress has been made. And yeah, it currently does not differentiate between war and staged. And I know some of you say it should be different because stage is different, and well, I partially agree. It's also difficult to sort out, and you have to keep in mind that those who play war are usually veterans, so they generally can make more kills and stuff like that. So you also have to keep in mind that most of the stage players are not on a competing level with how some of these war players can perform. So, but once it's live, we are definitely open to hearing your feedback about this system, and so we can see what is possible and how we can play around with it. So that will be actually quite interesting to see. So that is actually something I wanted to show you, and as there was also a big request in the previous stream was to show it weapon stats, but I also actually want to show you a bit of the other stats we have. It's one of those stats I tend to look at, and if you guys kind of like this is something I could do every 2 weeks or every month. I could show you a bit on how we can see how the war progresses in terms of assault teams and stuff like that. But basically we can see for each war, for each moment, we can see how much assault teams are being deployed, how much infantry is on the field, how much is in the stockpile. So for now I've just quickly created some images of the current resources, which hopefully I can put, go back, hold on, let's do this again. Can I put this in full screen mode? No? Dia? Yes. So what we can see here, and I hope yeah, my face is slightly in the way, but on the left side you can see basically all the types of resources we have in the game. And right now on this one you see, for example, that for the US and the Germans, obviously the infantry is on top, because by far the most infantry is being deployed. So currently it's not very visible to see how much of the other stuff has been deployed. But as you can see right now for this war, and this is just the past day, so we can set it on a bit longer as well, but this is just the past day. We can see that right now the United States have 650,000 infantry deployed. So that means there's 650,000 infantry on the various towns in total being deployed at the moment. Which leaves us to the German resources, which are currently which have faced some hard battles by the looks of it, because they have been steadily decreasing over 2 days' time, and you can see that right now they have dropped to roughly what is it, 250,000 infantry. They're approaching that number, but earlier this morning they were at almost 350,000. So then we have the, because I also have that. Come on, what is this? And then we also have the Russian, of course, the Soviet resources, which are currently actually pretty stable. So they are at a stable 500,000 infantry at the moment. And you see that it's slightly climbing. Sometimes you can obviously see when big battles have happened, when stuff has been encircled, it's actually quite interesting to see large drops somewhere, to see like a lot of units got captured, or a lot of units got destroyed and stuff like that. Yeah, the unknown is currently a bit broken. They're working on this system a bit, so that is currently a bit broken, but don't pay attention to that. So yeah, what you can actually see is that right now the Soviets have a pretty stable number. And to further zoom in, because that's I also just disabled the infantry for a second, so we can actually see how much of the other resources. And once again, it's slightly tiny bit broken, some of these values, because they're working on it. Is that you can see that by far the most being deployed by the United States is actually jeeps, and next is motorcycles. And well, you see that on the German side the motorcycles and the jeeps are much more alike, and they had a small peak. You can see that they had a small peak here, and after that it also went slightly down again. And yeah, you can also see, for example, here at the bottom that recons and paratroopers are also quite popular. Well, the recon is at the moment steadily declining for the Germans, which means they're losing a lot of recons. The paratroopers are actually slightly going up, so they're currently not being that much used. And the tank crew is also, it seems that there's a lot of tanks being lost. So, and then we also have the Soviet Union, which also naturally has the jeeps and the motorcycles are by far the ones on top. But once again, everything is pretty stable for them. So also the recons and their paratroopers are also pretty stable. And this is actually these statistics are something which I look at a regular basis. So what you see does not necessarily represent how it is every war, because every war is completely different. I've seen wars where the Germans have over 1 million infantry deployed, and I've seen wars where the Germans have 300,000 infantry deployed. And especially now in the vacation period, it's very difficult to actually get some proper data out of it, because yeah, when large whales go on vacation or something, that gives a noticeable change in the stats. So it differs a lot, but it's quite interesting for us to see. And this is actually also part of the things, if I look at, because I personally sometimes suggest to read the rep yarn, like change this stockpile value, change this production value, etc. So I use partially this next to also having it on the live servers. I have various accounts on each server just to verify some of these values, and based on this I see like stockpile is okay right now, production is okay right now, but maybe we need to make an adjustment here, or maybe we need to make an adjustment there, this could work, that could work. So with the limited things which we can do right now for the RTS, because it still has to be reworked, this is what we can do and what we can see. So, and actually, for those asking for the 1 million assault teams, that is actually quite recently even. In total, right now, since I think that was maybe 2.5 months ago, the US was at roughly 1 million infantry, the Germans was at roughly 1.2 million, and the Soviets got to 700,000 infantry deployed. And that, again, this can change a lot per war. It can really change a lot per war. So one war is also never sufficient to really extract all the data. But at some point, for example, if the stockpile is really bad for a certain faction, you do see it per war that this is a problem, and that allows us to actually provide or that allows me to provide feedback to those who can change these values, to say like, you may want to look at this because I can see for a few wars now that this is starting to become a problem. So if this is something you guys find interesting to see a little more often, that is definitely something I can combine on a monthly to see like what are actually the deployments, and is this actually interesting to see? Can we do something with this? Feel free to also ask if you want on the forum sometimes. If I haven't done it in a while, you can just ask if I can publish this, because this is just, even though you cannot directly access it, this is not something we really want to hide. This is something which I can easily share and find. So, and if you find it interesting to keep track of it, that should be interesting. Yeah, so this is a small thing I just wanted to show you in regards to the weapon statistics, because that's actually where I got this idea from, is that the weapon statistics is really something a lot more complicated to extract, and that is also not as easy as I can extract this. Actually, there's only, that I know of, like 2 or 3 persons in the company who can extract that information. It is something which we're going to look at. But it's not going to be in my stream that I probably share this stuff. I'm guessing if we want to show this kind of stuff, like really the weapons, which again is fairly complicated to extract, it will be in the stream with Rita Repion and Rita Gargamel, because to be honest, he's also one who can better explain the values being shown there. Because I can talk endlessly about the values being shown here, but if I see the weapon stats and stuff like that, I wouldn't be able to really fully explain how that exactly works. So because once again, it's also that some statistics are also easily misinterpreted, especially the weapon statistics, quite sensitive information, so to speak. Same with for example the maps and stuff like that. It's fairly sensitive to if you don't explain that properly, you might get the wrong assumptions that it works like this or works like that, and it's crap like this and it's crap like that. So, but that is something we're gonna definitely look into. So, but for now, this is what I can show you. Yeah. So, and this is what I actually wanted to show you. Which leaves me, because it's already past 4, so as promised, I will play a bit on the live servers as well. If you are still here watching the stream, you can also go to the prototype. It's prototype.heroesandgenerals.com. It will install a separate client where you can help us test the new build. And I'll just insert my password and log into the game.